Hello. Oh, you're late. Welcome. My name is Tina. If you are here and can hear me okay, let me know in the chat or by hitting the little heart button. Oh. Okay. All right, well, give yourself a little stretch there. Hello, hello. Okay, this is interesting. Nina, good. Good to see you. Well, see you. I don't know what else to say there. Good to have you here. That's what I'll say. Excuse me. So today, it's morning for me here. Hello. Whoop. Penelope Malou, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. So today is the first day of Find Your Flow Fridays. And this is in connection with my beginners yoga class. So if this is your very first yoga class ever, that's really cool. Let me know in the chat. And if this is a reintroduction, this will work too. Beginners yoga doesn't necessarily mean you've not done yoga before. Beginners yoga is, for me, every time I come to the mat, every time I teach, because it's always a new experience. You know, sometimes you'll hear in yoga classes people saying, you know, each day is going to feel different, each side is going to feel different, and that's totally true, because each time you come to it, it's a whole new experience. And so even if you have practiced yoga for a long time, these next 4 weeks are a way to get you back into that beginner's mind, where you really become curious about what is happening in your body, in your mind during your practice. And I think that will translate into the rest of your day as you go on throughout your day. So we have a class scheduled, or that I have planned out, that is some breath work, going over some basics. So it may seem maybe slow. If you've been coming to my flow classes for a while, it may seem a little bit slower. But this is a way for you to really explore what it feels like from the ground up, deep in your mind, wherever you are. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get a drink really quick. Some water. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, kitty. Okay, should be all right now. So the first thing that we work on in this course is sitting down. And you may not be able to see it here, but I am sitting on a bolster. And the reason I do this is I sit at like the end of the bolster. And sometimes when I do this, I also like to have a blanket, which are all opened up from my last restorative class, apparently. I like to fold up a blanket and have it underneath my ankles. And so for the seated pose, you often hear us say an easy sit. And easy doesn't mean it's easy. It's I don't know, maybe that's from the translation. But it is one ankle usually in front of the other. And where you're trying to go with this sit is your hips are above your knees. And this may or may not happen to you. And it might feel better to be sitting up on a bolster, or maybe have a block underneath your seat. And this is one way that we can start building from the ground up. I actually have a little ankle injury, so I am probably going to put my foot out here sometimes, because sometimes when I turn it this way, it doesn't feel so good. Or I might add another blanket. And so my practice and your practice may not look the same. So if you're looking at me and going, well, I don't look like that, but that's perfectly fine. This is your practice. I'm here to guide you in some different ways to think about moving into these poses so that you can explore them on your own. Sorry for that noise in the background. My kitty my Buddha is sick, and he's got something that keeps him all stuffed up all the time, so sorry about that. So let's go ahead and arrive on our mats in a gentle seated position, like maybe like what I have here. And then as you come to the seated pose, this allows you to start lengthening up your spine and prepare us for our breathing. To come to the centering, we often do the 3-part breath, and if you would like to explore that with me, you can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. And as you begin to inhale through your nose, bring that air all the way to your belly and feel your belly start to come out. Your ribs start to open up and your chest may raise a bit. And then as you exhale, your belly starts to come in, your ribs stitch together, and your chest may lower. Another way you can feel this on your ribs, to place your hands on your rib cage. And so as you inhale, you exhale. Your inhale, your belly fills up first, and then your ribs kind of open up a bit. I'm exaggerating here. And your chest raises. And then as you exhale, your belly comes in, your ribs stitch together, your chest may lower. All of this with your shoulders away from your ears. And what this 3-part breath does is a few things. It brings your awareness and your focus to that soft, gentle focus that I'll be coming back to a lot in this course, where you are thinking about something and bringing your awareness there and being right there in that moment and in that area of your body or your mind, wherever it is. And it also, as you inhale, filling up the belly, ribs, and chest, it helps you create space so that your spine can lengthen up and the crown of your head starts going up toward the sky. Your sit bones are nice into the ground and you're lifting from the ground up. And then in your seated pose, maybe your hands are on your lap, or even if you want to work on having your balance between having your shoulders above your hips, you can roll your shoulders back and even bring your hands in your hip creases. So let's go ahead and start here, arriving onto our mats. If it feels comfortable for you, maybe closing your eyes or taking a gentle gaze down toward your cheeks. And start to come to that 3-part breath here. As you inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, emptying out that air from your belly, your ribs, and your chest. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your nose. Continuing that breath. Inhaling and exhaling in and out of your nose to keep the warmth building up in your body, preparing us for our practice. And each inhale as your belly fills up, creating that length in your spine, crown of your head going up toward the sky. And as you exhale, feeling your core, keeping you upright, that whole part of your body, keeping your spine lifted. Starting to balance out your breath here. Your inhales and exhales may be the same length in order to keep you in balance for the rest of your practice. And as you go throughout this practice today, know that you can always return your awareness to this breath. To help bring you back right here to this moment. To allow yourself the curiosity of a beginner's mind. And to continue on with your practice, feeling comfort and ease and soft focus in your mind and your body. You can keep your eyes closed or flutter them open if you'd like, and on your next inhale, let's raise our arms together up toward the sky, above our heads. As you exhale, release your right hand down towards your right hip, to the ground or to your bolster, and then lean over to the right side. Keeping both sit bones on the ground, give yourself a nice side stretch here. And then on your next inhale, raise your shoulders over your hips, reach both arms up. Exhale, left hand down to the earth or your bolster, and then reach that right hand over to the left. And 2 more times for each side. Take this time to really feel your breath and how it's guiding your spine and your mind. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, over to the right. And again, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, over to the left. And then on your next inhale, reaching both arms up, shoulders above your hips and away from your ears, twisting to the right, twisting from your hips here, turning to the right. Your right arm can go behind, your left arm may cross over. Staying here for a moment as you inhale, filling up that belly, ribs, and chest, give you space to maybe on an exhale, twist a little bit more toward the right. And then on your next inhale, turning your chest to the front as you reach your arms up toward the sky. Exhale, twisting to the left, releasing your left arm behind, right arm across. Taking a breath here as you inhale, lengthening your spine up. Exhale, maybe see if there's a little bit more space to turn a little bit more toward the left shoulder. And then on your next inhale, sweep your arms up as your chest comes forward. Bring your palms together here, and as you exhale, lower your hands heart center. Bring your thumbs to your heart space and take that awareness to your heartbeat. And release your hands. We're going to make our way onto our hands and knees here. I like to keep the blanket underneath my knees to support them with the softness. And then from here, you'll have your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips, and your cat directly underneath your belly. So from here, we're going to come into some cat-cow pose here. So as you inhale and that belly fills up with air, let it drop down toward the ground and roll your shoulders back. Your seat goes up, your gaze goes up, creating a little dip in your back here. And then as you exhale, start to round your spine, creating an arch. And your head will come in between your upper arms. Continuing this breath and movement as you inhale, your belly fills up with air. And your belly reaches down as your gaze goes up, shoulders still away from your ears, seat up, gaze up. Exhale, rounding your spine, pressing into the earth. So as you exhale and that belly comes in, that helps you raise that belly button up toward the ceiling. So really explore how your breath changes, or how your shape changes the breath, and vice versa. And then as you're ready, coming back to a neutral position, tabletop. From here, take your right toes to the back of your mat, curling the toes under, lowering your toes down to the ground. And then shift your shoulders back so that you're curling your toes are going forward and your heels going back. So this is like a calf stretch. And you can stay right here, or maybe you want to shift forward and back. Do what feels good for your body. Trying to stay with your hips even to the mat. And then coming back to neutral, bringing your shoulders back above your wrists. Bring your left fingertips to the front of the mat. Now really feel yourself here reaching out from the crown of your head to your sit bones. Your back heel is reaching back. Your front fingertips are reaching forward. You're trying to keep your hips level and squared to the front mat, or to your mat. And this is spinal balance here. You can also maybe raise that back foot with your toes pointed down, and maybe raise the left arm next to your left ear with your thumb pointed up, and your gaze is down to keep the nice long spine. Continuing to breathe here. Inhaling your belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale, feeling that belly coming in, keeping yourself nice and strong here. Another breath here if you can. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, belly coming in. Maybe you reach a little bit further, back with your foot and forward with your fingers. And then as you're ready, bring your hand down, bring your knee down. And find your tabletop again. Now from here, reach your left toes back, curl the toes under, shift your shoulders back so that your heel can go back. Back leg stays straightened. Doesn't have to be completely straight. You don't want to hyperextend the knee, but it should be somewhat straight. And you can shift forward and back if that's available for you. And then making sure that your hips are squared. You can bring your right fingertips to the front of the mat. Feel what that length feels like. You can stay here, breathing in and out, or maybe lifting that back leg up, left toes pointed down, right arm next to your right ear, lengthening out, trying to square your hips to the ground, and continue breathing. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, making space for your spine. Exhale, belly coming in. And Feeling your muscles work, wrists, and coming to the other side. You can even come back onto your heels for a moment, bringing your elbows together in front of you and holding onto your hands and rotating your wrists. If you don't do a lot of yoga, it may feel intense on your wrists, and we'll work on that a little bit later in the course, but just to say, be aware of your wrists and give yourself a little break if you need to. And from here, we're going to go ahead and find our first downward facing dog and then make our way up to a seated or a standing position. So, from your tabletop, hands are underneath your shoulders. Your fingertips are pointed forward, and your elbow creases are facing forward. So it's kind of a rotation of just your elbows. So from here, curl your toes under, and as you press into the earth, raise your seat up toward the sky and press your chest back toward your thighs. Your knees can be bent here. This way you can really feel as you're pressing your chest back toward your thighs, you can feel how your seat is raised up. You're creating that upside down V. And from here you can walk the dog by really bending one knee, your right knee here, and lowering your opposite heel toward the earth, your left heel. And then bend the left knee in toward your body, and then lower your right heel down toward the earth. And you can go back and forth with this movement, breathing how it makes you feel comfortable. Let your head hang in between your upper arms. Your ears are on the right next to your forearms. And then as you're ready, you can stop the walking of the dog, and you can lower your heels down toward the earth. Imagine them going that direction. Your knees can still stay slightly bent if that feels good for you. And try to find the balance between your feet and your hands. Trying to bring the weight evenly distributed between those. And then as you're ready, I'm going to come to a forward fold at the front of our mat. And to do this, on our inhale, we'll look to the front of your mat. So you'll gaze up between your hands. And then as you exhale, you'll start to tiptoe your feet forward. So as you come forward, you can bring your blocks down if the ground is still too far away. If this is too intense for you, you can be up here. Wherever it is for your forward. And then on your next inhale, we'll come into a half lift. So you're raising your shoulders even with your hips, pressing your hands into your shins or thighs to support yourself. Your gaze still stays down. Shoulders even with your hips, gaze down. And on your next exhale, we'll go into another forward fold, bending your knees and folding forward. On your next inhale, we're going to come all the way up to standing, hinging from our hips. So as we inhale, your belly's coming in, your core is helping you lift up and reach your fingertips up to the sky. And exhale, bring your hands heart center. Take a moment here, feel your thumbs, your heart beating against your thumbs, and take a few breaths. Reaching your hands down toward the ground. We're going to work on that forward fold back into a plank or half plank. Coming into a modified sun salutation. We'll do this a few times. So to start off, we're going to have our feet directly underneath us. Maybe your heel and your toe are in line with each other, and that can help you bring your feet more parallel to the sides of the mat, like your knees and toes to be pointed in the same direction. Hip bones are right above your knees are right above your ankles, rolling your shoulders back, opening your hands to the front of the mat here. Taking a breath here to build your spine up. Inhale, feel your belly fill up, ribs and chest, shoulders away from the ears. And as you exhale, feel your belly coming in, ribs stitching together, chest lowering. Your head is above your heart, chin is parallel to the ground. Palms open to the front of your mat. This is mountain. Extended mountain on the inhale, reach your arms up above your head. Forward fold on the exhale, hinging from your hips, forward fold. Your belly's coming in. You can bend your knees. Belly and thighs can be touching as you get into your forward fold. Half lift on the inhale, raising your shoulders up halfway, pressing your hands into your shins or thighs, gazing down. Exhale, forward fold, plant your hands onto the ground, and then step your feet to the back of your mat, however you need to get there. Maybe shift your shoulders forward a bit, lower your knees down to the ground, and maybe the tops of your feet to the ground if that's available. And then start to bend your elbows back towards your feet so that your forearms rub against your body. This is chaturanga, so lower down. And then roll your shoulders back, bring your hands forward so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your hips are releasing down into the down toward the ground. Your head is above your heart, chin parallel to the ground. Shoulders still away from the ears, chest reaching forward, continuing to breathe here. This is Sphinx. This is a back bend. And then as you're ready, take your hands underneath your shoulders, curl your toes under, maybe press yourself up, maybe come to your knees here if that feels good. And then raise your seat up and find your downward facing dog. Head in between your upper arms, your knees, comfortably bent, or your legs straightened, just not hyperextended. Take a few breaths here. And then as you're ready, gazing to the front of your mat on your inhale and stepping to the front of your mat on your exhale. Tiptoe, big steps, whatever you need to get there. And then as you get there, let your head hang and let your belly rub against your thighs. Maybe bend your knees a little bit to make that happen. And then half lift on your inhale. Pressing your hands into your shins or thighs, gazing directly down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way to standing, reaching your fingertips up high. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Take a breath here. We'll go through that again one more time. Finding your mountain to start with. Feeling your feet grounded into the earth. And on your next inhale, sweep your fingertips up toward the sky. Forward fold on your exhale, hinging from your hips. Bending your knees if you need to. Half lift on your inhale. Forward fold on your exhale. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Shift your shoulders forward a little bit. Lower your knees down. Exhale, bend your elbows back towards your feet. Chaturanga. Inhale, roll your shoulders back. Your hands come forward while your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Shift your chest forward. Take a few breaths here in your Sphinx. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, curl your toes, maybe come to your knees and then raise your seat, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look to the front of your mat, and as you exhale, step your feet toward your hands, forward fold. Half lift on your inhale, forward fold on your exhale. Inhale, coming all the way to standing, reach your fingertips up high. Exhale, bring your hands heart center. Take a breath here. So that is called the vinyasa flow. In my classes, I usually do 3 to 5 rounds of that, somewhere close to the beginning of the class. And then in some classes, that is done in between each section of the sun salutation B, where we do some of the other poses, and then you may come and do that that flow in between. And that's always an option. If you're in a class and you know that the vinyasa flow is coming and you are tired or your wrists aren't wanting it or whatever, you can always go straight to the downward dog. But we don't need to worry about that right now. Just wanted to share that little tidbit. So from here, we're going to work on one of the poses that is often found in the sun salutation B. And we'll get in there from a runner's lunge. So we'll come into our runner's lunge starting with the first half of our sun salutation A by raising our fingertips up to the sky. And then as we exhale, hinging from our hips, forward fold. Half lift on the inhale. Forward fold on the exhale, bring your hands down, and then this time, bring your right foot to the back of your mat and find your runner's lunge. So for your runner's lunge, your fingertips or your hands are down on either side of your feet. If the ground is too far away, maybe you want to play with having your blocks there. Your knee is above your ankle here. So knee above ankle, at least not past your toes. We're trying not to get it too far past your toes for this pose. So knee above your ankle, toe and knee are pointing in the same direction, keeping that stability. Your back foot, so your right foot, your toes are down on the ground. Maybe the ball of your foot is really planted into the earth, and your back heel is straight up. Your back leg is straight. Your toes and knees are pointed in the same direction. So this is the runner's lunge. Straight line from the crown of your head to your sit bones. And then for the crescent lunge, we are going to raise our shoulders over our hips. So to do that on an inhale, your core is coming in to help strengthen you. And maybe you need to get some assistance from your thigh, not your knee, your thigh. And then maybe, if it feels good, reach your arms up. So your shoulders are above your hips, fingertips reaching up to the sky. Your shoulders are still down. I like to bring my pinky fingers kind of rotated toward each other, or at least your palms facing each other above you. Back leg stays straight and strong. And breathe. Usually we don't hold it for this long, so you're getting a little extra workout right here if you're staying in this. And then as you exhale, let's come down, bring our hands back down, find your runner's lunge. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale the next time, bring that back foot up to meet the front and find a forward fold. Half lift on the inhale. Forward fold on the exhale. Inhale, coming all the way to standing. Reach your fingertips up high. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Take a breath here. And we'll go and do that on the other side. So finding your mountain, feet planted into your mat. Inhale, lengthen your fingertips up to the sky, lengthen your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift on the inhale. Forward fold on the exhale. Plant your hands. Left foot goes to the back of your mat. Your right knee is above your right ankle. Back leg straight and strong. Back heel is going to be lifted up. Back leg is straight. And straight line from the crown of your head to your sit bones. So you've got that nice length in your neck. And on your next inhale, raise your shoulders over your hips and maybe reach your fingertips up to the sky. Crescent lunge. Shoulders away from the ears, palms facing each other. Your front knee is pointed forward. A lot of times, maybe not in this pose, but in other poses where our front knee is bent, it wants to collapse to the center. Try to make sure that it's a little bit more toward the pinky toe. So even though you're guiding it over toward the pinky, it's still staying straight ahead, same direction as your toes. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to your mat, either side of your foot, and then bring that back foot to meet the front, forward fold. Half lift on the inhale, forward fold on the exhale. Inhale, coming all the way to standing, reach your fingertips up high. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Take a breath here. I like to incorporate moments of stillness and reflection in between moments of movement. And lower your hands down. From here, we're going to make our way down onto our mats, but we'll start with a yogi squat. If you're not familiar, I'll go through one and then we can do it together if you want to watch for the first one. So your toes are going to be to the outsides of your mat, so if you're still on your mat. And then you'll start to bend your knees in the same direction as your toes. That's a common theme. The knees and the toes like to keep them in alignment. And then you'll lower your seat down toward the earth. Your spine is still staying somewhat up. I have a block just in case when I get down here, maybe my knees are coming out and maybe my seat would like a little assistance to keep my spine nice and long and hands in between. Now I have pretty flexible hips, so if you come down and you're like, this is it, this is fine. You can be halfway up. You can have a seat behind you. You can use two blocks. Find what works for you. It's hard for me to, obviously I can't see you. So work with what you have and find a yogi squat. Taking a few breaths. Wherever you are. If your heels are raised, you can fold up a blanket and place them underneath the heels. And then as you're ready, bring your hands down, bring your seat up, point your toes forward, maybe heel toes, your feet underneath your hips. Really bend your knees here. You can reach for opposite elbows, coming into ragdoll. Let yourself shift back and forth. Maybe release your head by nodding yes or no. Maybe taking a nice exhale out of your mouth. And from here, we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So however you need to get there, maybe coming down onto all fours, and then taking your hips to one side. And this is the part of the class where we release, and a lot of that will look like stretching. But it is really we've been working the muscles and stuff, so this is a way to release that tension that we've been creating with that. In this part of the class, you've been breathing in and out of your nose. You can start to take some deep inhales and exhale out of your mouth to release any heat that's built up, because we'll start to cool our bodies down in the last part of the class. So we can take a big inhale together, and then exhale, let it go. And that helps to kind of cool yourself down. Also, in this part of the class, your breath will start coming back to its normal pace, natural pace, and just kind of let it flow. You can always still bring your awareness back to your breath, but that gentle awareness isn't guiding it in a certain way, it's just allowing it. So taking a breath here. And then from here, we're going to come into a few different poses. So reach your legs out in front of you. This is what I call unfluffing the pillows, where you can get your sit bones down on the ground by moving the flesh away a little bit. And rolling your shoulders back, finding a nice seated position here, feeling yourself still arrived on your mat. I'm going to come into cradle the baby here, so you can bend your right knee up towards your right hand and then take your hand around your knee, left hand around the bottom of your right foot. And this is one version of cradle the baby, guiding that lower leg in towards your chest, still keeping your spine nice and elongated, keeping it up, maybe rocking that foot from side to side. From here, it's really about finding what feels good for you in your body in this pose. Other ways to do this pose are bringing your elbows underneath your knee and your wrist, if you can keep that spine lifted. And another version is placing your foot on the crook of your elbow, and then the other arm around and clasping the hands. Sometimes this can be hard to keep that spine upright, so find which version works for you, either with the hands toward you, with your elbows supporting your ankle and underneath your knee, or holding on to your knee and your foot. You can rock, you can stay still, you can move from side to side. Just find what feels good for you here. And then from here, we're going to take that right leg, and place the right foot on the inside of your right thigh, so your left thigh, so your right knee is pointed out. And we're going to be hinging from our hips and shifting our chest forward. You can support your hands on either side of your leg. You can have your blocks. Find your edge here. So wherever you'd feel like you're starting to feel it, let yourself hover there. You can bring your chin toward your chest when you find that. And just start to breathe. Imagining your focus coming toward those places that feel a little tight. And then on your next inhale, starting to lift your shoulders back up, maybe press your hands into the ground or your blocks. And then reach that right leg out, maybe give yourself a little wiggle. We'll do cradle the baby on the other side. So bending your left knee and placing your left hand there, right hand around the bottom of your left foot. And you can rock or stay still, explore, guiding that lower leg towards your chest, keeping your shoulders away from your ears and your spine nice and long. Again, the versions, elbow underneath the ankle and in the crease of the knee with your hands towards your face. Or foot into the opposite elbow, left arm around the left knee, clasping your hands. Maybe guiding the foot up, in, across, whatever feels good for you. And then releasing your foot on the inside of your thigh, left knee out to the side, right leg reaching forward, hinging from your hips. So bringing your chest forward, finding your edge. If there's any tension underneath your lengthened knee, you can bend that knee. That's fine. We're looking for the length in the spine here. And then bring your chin towards your chest once you've hit your edge. You can also place a blanket or something underneath the knee if that is uncomfortable for you. And breathe. And as you're ready, on your next inhale, start to press yourself up. Reach your left leg out, maybe give them a little wiggle. We're going to do a forward fold here with your legs out in front of you. Again, if it feels more comfortable to have your knees bent, you can have them bent. If you'd like them supported a little bit so you don't need to work on keeping them bent, you can place a blanket or blocks underneath your knees. And then as you're ready, be hinging from your hips, bringing your chest forward. And then as you're ready, bringing your chin towards your chest. So you're still keeping your spine long here from the crown of your head to your sit bones, working on, it's not so much about rounding, although you may see that in some yin classes, but this is really to lengthen the spine and also to work on the backs of your legs. And breathe. And then from here, start to press yourself up. I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to lie back. We're going to do a supported bridge pose. So if that's something that's new for you, you can watch first and then I'll talk you through it again. But for supported bridge, bending your knees, feet underneath your knees, lying back. Maybe you bring your fingertips down toward your heels so you can see what that feels like. Having your block handy. we're going to raise our hips and place our sacrum, which is the flat bone at the bottom of our spine, just above our sit bones. We're going to place it on the block or your book or a pillow or whatever you have. And then you'll lower your hips back down onto it. And you'll find it should feel like you're not having to do any work. So we'll be lying here for a few minutes. So if you're not into it yet, go ahead and lie back with your knees pointed up. And then as you exhale, raise your hips toward the sky. Take your block underneath your hips and place it at, I like the lowest level for restorative. And find the comfort level here. And you can keep your feet planted on the ground. Continuing to breathe here. Allowing your breath to come back to its normal pace. This is allowing your body to be in a slight inversion. So, since you are in an inversion, pay attention to how your body feels. If you ever feel any pressure in your eyes or any tingling or anything like that, feel free to come out. And from here, really pressing your feet into the ground so you can lift your hips up and move the block. And then lower your hips back down to the ground. Let your spine rest all the way on the ground. And then sway your knees from side to side to release your low back. And then slow your knees down, stopping them as they're pointed up, and then reach your arms out to a T, like out from your shoulders. Bend your knees in towards your chest, and then lower your knees over towards your right side. This is a twist. If you want more of a twist, maybe you can take your gaze over towards your left fingertips. On your next inhale, bring your knees back above your chin. As you're ready, bring your knees back above your chest. If you'd like to come into a happy baby, reach your feet up toward the sky, bring your knees to the outsides of your mat, reach behind your thighs or your shins or up towards your feet or ankles as your knees are dropping down towards your armpits. You can rock or you can stay still. And then from here, bring your knees back above your chest. Give yourself a nice hug, thanking yourself for making it to the mat. And then on your next exhale, we're going to release down into Shavasana, lying back, finding the most comfortable position that you can. Maybe it's placing a blanket or a bolster underneath your knees. Maybe it's covering your eyes with an eye pillow. whatever you need to do to come into the most comfortable position possible so that you may allow all the work that you've done in the past hour to sink into your body and affect your mind. Release any tension from your body. Soften your muscles. Quiet your mind. Relaxing, releasing, and letting go. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Press each fingertip to your thumb, noticing an increased awareness. Have a quiet mind. Bring your body. Bringing your mind back into this space with us together. As you're ready, curl up onto one side in a fetal pose for a final moment of quiet and stillness. Thank yourself for making it to the mat today, for allowing yourself to approach your practice with a beginner's mind. And to remember, reach your arms up toward the sky and bring your palms, heart center, bowing toward your fingertips. It was truly an honor to guide you through this yoga practice this morning. I hope you have a peaceful and powerful weekend. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Finn, for being here. So, for those of you who are here, this was part of my Find Your Flow series or course for people who can't make it live. I invited them to join us here on Insight Timer. And for those people, you'll be getting your follow-up emails tomorrow. But for here, thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate the donations so much. They help me keep going with this. There's a possibility I might be getting a job, so my timing might have to change a little bit. But in about a half an hour or less, by the time I finish chit-chatting here, I'm going to be kind of holding space and guiding a little bit of journal writing in about a half an hour. And the idea behind that is to, as you're going through this beginner's mind with your body and your mind, things may come up that you might want to journal it out. And so if you would like to join us at the half hour, I believe, feel free to do so. I'd love to see you. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. The donations keep me going. Sometimes frankly, I have to cancel the classes if I'm not getting donations because I have to work on other things that bring some income in, so I can keep providing this. So if you ever know, I had to cancel yesterday because just trying to pay the bills. Anyway, so I guess I'm still in that yoga stone state. I forgot what I was supposed to say. Anyway, I need to probably get off of here, make myself some coffee, and make my way over to the desk so that I can start with the second portion of this, with the journal writing. So thank you so much for being here. Feel free to donate at any time coming onto my Insight Timer page. I am going to try to create a course that is similar to this. So if you have any feedback for this, either in the chat or sending me a message through Insight Timer or on my website, tinaclub.com, to let me know how this could better serve you. If this was truly a beginner course for you, if it worked out for you, or if it was something that you were just exploring for your practice today, I would love to hear how it works out for you. So I'm going to be respectful of your time and get ready for the next thing. And thank you so much. Thank you again, Bobby, for your donation. I know we have 100 people on here today. If everybody donated $1, I would be so happy. Sorry, I'm having a rough morning today. Oh, okay. Anyway, I am done chit-chatting. I will talk to you all if you make it to the next thing. And thank you so much for being here. Bye.